This is going to be the ultimate shaving tutorial for bodybuilding from somebody who's been doing this for years now, and I'm pretty hairy, so I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to talk about the products that I recommend, how to do it, when to do it, and why you want to do it. First off, let's get into the products. Right here, I recommend getting a electric shaver. This one specifically, I highly recommend. It has a foil shaver on one side, and then it has like a normal trimmer on the other side with a guard. A lot of people in the bodybuilding space talk about the Philips One Blade. I think it's like the green one. Maybe I'll throw up a picture of it. I had that when I was in high school, and I personally think it's like really crappy. It doesn't have a lot of power, and it might work if your hair is really thin, but if you have thicker hair, it's likely going to take you a long time or just not give you a good result. So I recommend the Philips Norelco. I'll link to it in the description. And then in addition to that, just get yourself like a normal razor and shaving cream or shaving gel. I recommend a shaving gel because this one is like translucent, so you can kind of see everything, whereas shaving cream, it's like white, all foamy, can't really see what you're doing. The other thing is, when it comes to like a razor blade, I recommend not using a fresh blade. Usually it's a little bit too harsh on the skin, so you kind of want to get one that's maybe you've shaved your face a couple times with it, and then it's kind of softened up the blades just a little bit, so it's a little bit easier on the skin. I think that's everything in terms of what you need, and then we'll kind of go over what do you want to do for upper body, lower body, the hard to get spots and things like that. Now, the tool that you want to use is really going to depend on where your body hair situation is at right now. So take me, for example. I've been kind of lazy. Normally, I like to shave the upper body at least once a week and the lower body once every 2 weeks. But I've been pretty lazy, and it's been maybe a month since I've shaved either of them. So the hair on my legs is like decently longer than it normally is, and same with my upper body. So because the hair is like a little bit longer and it's not short, if I try to take the razor that I normally use, it's just gonna clog the blade up really fast. I'm gonna have to wash it like very frequently. It's gonna take a really long time. So when the hair is longer like this on the upper body, you're gonna wanna use the trimmer first. And you can either go the foil shaver side, or you could go the trimmer side. But the problem with the foil shaver is, I mean, I don't even have a big chest. Like, I'm pretty flat chested. And even for me, it's like hard to get into like all the angles and get actually close to the skin, which is why I prefer the razor. So what I'll do is I'll use the trimmer to kind of get the hair down to a decent length first, or I'll just cut it entirely with the trimmer, then let it grow for a few days, maybe a week, and then come back with the razor later. So for me this time, what I'm gonna do is take the trimmer with the guard on, and I'm gonna try to get the hair down a little bit, see how long it's looking when I'm done, and then either go back at it with the trimmer without a guard, or if it's a decent length to use the razor after, I'll use the razor. The razor is always gonna give you a cleaner look, but a lot of the times with a foil shaver, you can get a very similar close shave result depending on the product and your hair texture. All right, hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I don't know if it's zoomed in or enough in getting any detail, but essentially just using that trimmer side, and you can just start wherever you want. Actually, I usually start from the bottom, or yeah, you can see that. All right. I mean, this is pretty simple. Like, you're literally just going over all the hair until you've covered it with your trimmer, and then it looks like this is getting it to a decent length that I can go with the razor after. So I'll probably finish this up and then come back with the razor when I'm done. First pass through is complete. You can definitely tell that the hair has come down a little bit. It's not perfect yet because we're gonna go over it again with the razor. But again, the goal was just to get the length down a little bit so that when we come with the razor, blade's not gonna get clogged with like one swipe. You can get a few swipes in before you gotta rinse it out. So I'm probably going to do that in the shower later, and I maybe won't record that because it's just gonna be weird to set up a camera. But you get the idea. Like, pretty much when you are in the shower, I also recommend using a hot shower. It's gonna open up the pores a little bit more, make it easier for the hair to kind of get loose from the follicle. So pretty much you'll be in your shower, you will just take the shea butter and like lather it all up, and then you're just gonna take like passes through, just going smooth, even, whole way through. The other nice thing is if your hair is too short, like if you try to do this every day or every other day and there's not enough hair for the razor to grab onto, you're probably going to end up with some skin issues. Like it's just going to irritate the skin a bunch. So I recommend finding what the optimal hair length is for you, where the razor can grab onto the hair without irritating your skin and things like that. So if you're doing this around a show, it's kind of important to time your shaving in the lead up to your contest. In terms of how far out you shave is really going to depend on the person, how your hair grows, how it makes you look. I've heard John Meadows, for example, he would shave a few days before, so by the time he gets on stage, he had just like a little bit of stubble that added to the graininess, is what he said. But this is all like a personal preference thing and how you want to do it. Just make sure that when you are doing it around a show, you don't use any products that are going to irritate your skin. Try to use like fragrance-free stuff, because when you use stuff with chemicals and then you go get a tan, it can potentially interact poorly with the tan and you might end up looking green or some color that we don't want. So just make sure you're being careful about that. That's mostly it for the upper body. I might try to record some stuff, but I'll just get into lower body now. So in terms of lower body, I really only started doing this maybe a year ago, or actually less than a year ago, like probably 6 months ago. If you're on the fence about this and you train in the gym, I highly recommend it. Your legs will look significantly better. Just so much more detail and definition, especially since most people have the most amount of hair in their legs. It's really just going to end up blurring any sort of definition that you have, unless you just have some massive quads and calves and everything, which I'm not blessed with. So we gotta take everything we can get. The very first time that I did this, I used the razor. Worst idea of my life, bro. I shaved everything completely with a razor, like got all like the nooks and crannies, the hard to get spots. Genuinely, for the next 3 days, I could not sleep. It literally felt like, you know, there's like a form of torture, I forget if it's like Chinese or Japanese, it should be Chinese I think, where they would like grow a bamboo stick into a person essentially as a form of torture. That is what it felt like on my whole body. Like obviously not that bad, but literally when the hair starts to regrow, it just has this super sharpness to it that if it touches any other part of your body, it's actually like you're being stabbed. And it was like one of the most agonizing experiences that I've had, and I'm never gonna use the razor again on my legs. Now that's why I just have the foil shaver and I can take it there. So that's what not to do. So what do you wanna do? Highly recommend getting the foil shaver, and then wait until your hair is like a decent length, because when we're doing the legs, a lot of the spots are a little bit hard to see, especially when you're like over here and you're having to like look back and like find all the spots. So I like to at least have a little bit of length to work with, so when I make pass-throughs, I can see, oh, that's a spot that I got and that's a spot that I didn't get. If you're constantly doing this very frequently and the hair is very short, you might end up missing some spots just because you can't really see very well if there's hair in the area or not. So I like to start with like the calf area here. So I'm literally just gonna use the foil shaver side, and then I'm coming and just doing smooth passes up. And you'd really, if you have a good shaver, you don't have to do a lot of passes, like pretty much just one, like you got a good line right there. So then you just keep going all the way around. Super simple stuff. Boom. And just like that, first calf is done. And you can see, like, it honestly looks like you shaved it with a razor. You can barely tell that there's like hair on there. So that's why I highly just recommend using this instead of trying to go with a razor thinking you're gonna get a closer shave. If you, again, have the right type of foil shaver or trimmer, you will get a very good result with this. So I'm gonna finish up the rest of the leg. Actually, before I do that, I'll kind of like show you. So some people are kind of worried of like, how are they gonna get the back of their hamstring, their glutes, the like inner part of their glutes, like all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have like another person to help you, it definitely is a little bit difficult. You kind of just got to go by feel and then like mirror check yourself. So really, like, also you're gonna have to get some creative angles going. So like the position I'm sitting in right now, like you can get a good amount of stuff down there if you need to. So kind of just like set up, and maybe I have the camera right now that I can see, but like if you set up a mirror in front of you, you can kind of see like where are you aiming and things like that. This is just if you don't have another person. Obviously, the best way to do things is to get yourself one of your siblings and torment them, or if you have a significant other that's willing to do this, then that'd be a good option as well, just to make things easy. But if you don't have that, just be creative and do frequent checks. It might take you a little bit longer. It's not the end of the world. You have a mirror, you have your hands, like you can feel your own body and figure out like where you're at. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Just give it a shot and you'll end up with a decent result, I promise. I just finished the first leg, so you can kind of see the difference in terms of how the two quads look. Shaved, not shaved. I can't really tell if you can see that much of a difference, and the lighting in here is not the best, but same from the backside too. Finished up the legs, and then I realized I forgot about the forearms, but I mean, it's really the same thing as the legs. Nothing too complicated. Highly recommend. If you're getting on this ride, just shave everything. I promise it's always gonna look better if it's shaved. But same thing, take the foil shaver and you're just whole way through. When you're trying to get like under the arms and stuff like that, you're just gonna come like this. Oh, and then I forgot. For armpits, kind of depends. I'd say take the trim it down a little bit first, and then go with the razor after, if the razor doesn't give you issues. Some people get skin irritation issues when they're using a razor, so maybe you just stick to the foil shaver or this. It's just that when you are using bigger devices like this, it's kind of hard to get in like all the crevices and stuff. So that's just pretty much what you want to do. So I'll finish up the forearms, hop in the shower, and then get the upper body done, and we'll see the results. I keep forgetting body parts. Last one, which is actually pretty important, is gonna be back. Now for me, I have some hair on my back, but it's not a lot, and it's not to the point where I really need to shave it. If you are not in this boat and you are a hairy Chewbacca back person, no shade, but you're really gonna need to get somebody else to do it. You can get these extenders on like Amazon or online that you can attach a shaver to. You're just not gonna get a good result, especially if you have any muscle mass in your back with the contours and everything. You're not gonna be able to do it. So get somebody else to do it, and if you really just have nobody, go to the wax center or something locally and just get that done. It's definitely important, because if you do have a good amount of hair back there, it will blur the detail. So now I think that's actually all the body parts. Now I'll actually go take a shower and we will take a look at the final results. Tip, if you're gonna shave into a bathtub like this, don't just let the water go down the drain, because you will clog your plumbing real fast like that. So I just took a vacuum cleaner and I vacuumed up whatever I could get, and the few little straggler hairs that are left behind, that's okay to go down. But like, you don't want to just send a colossal wave of body hair down the drain. That's suboptimal. Just like that, we are all done. Shaved, got the mug too. So let's go pose, and you can see the difference between shaved versus unshaved. So as you can see, things are looking a lot cleaner. The lines are popping a little bit more. Definition's not as blurred, which is what bodybuilding is all about. So that's probably going to be everything for this video. If you took anything away from it, you learned something. If you have any additional questions or comments, leave it down below. and I'll get back to you. But yeah, thanks for watching.